Rain hit the hood of the old patrol car like warning taps from the sky. Officer Brad Turner didn't care. He smirked as he stepped out, his flashlight cutting through the drizzle toward two black teenagers standing beside a busted-up bike. "Hands where I can see 'em," he barked. The twins, Marcus and Malik, both 15, froze, their school bags still strapped to their shoulders. They'd just fixed their chain and were about to head home. "Sir, we didn't," Marcus tried to speak, but Brad grabbed his arm and slammed him against the car. "Oh, you didn't? Then what's this?" He kicked a small toolkit lying on the ground. "Breaking into garages, huh? You think I'm stupid?" Malik's voice shook. "That's ours. We were fixing the bike." Brad laughed under his breath. "Sure you were. Just like your kind always has an excuse." He cuffed Marcus first, ignoring the pain in the boy's wrist, then turned to Malik. "Please, we didn't do anything," Malik begged, his eyes darting to a neighbor's porch light flickering on. "Keep talking, kid," Brad growled, pressing him onto the wet concrete. "One more word and you're spending the night in juvie." Just then, a deep voice echoed from behind. "That's enough, officer." Brad spun around, ready to snap back, but froze. A tall man stood under the streetlight, rain glistening off his military jacket. His badge hung from a chain around his neck. "Who the hell are you?" Brad barked. The man stepped closer, his tone calm but cold. "Deputy Director Cole Matthews, FBI." Brad blinked. The name sounded familiar, too familiar. Cole's jaw tightened. "Those two boys you're manhandling. They're my sons." The street went silent except for the rain. Brad's grip loosened, his face drained of color. "Why your sons?" Cole walked closer, his stare cutting through him like a knife. 10 minutes ago, you had power. Now, you better pray those body cams were off, Officer Turner." Brad's knees felt weak. The neighbor's porch light turned steady, recording everything through the rain. Cole knelt by his sons, unlocking the cuffs himself. "You okay, boys?" Marcus nodded shakily, tears mixing with the rain. Malik whispered, "Dad, he thought we were thieves." Cole stood slowly, facing Brad. "No, he saw two black kids and decided they were guilty." Brad's voice cracked. "Sir, I didn't know." Cole cut him off. "You didn't care." The wind picked up, the storm deepening, as Cole pulled out his phone. "Let's see how fast your department reacts when the FBI opens a civil rights case, starting with you." Brad's mouth went dry, his hand trembled as the realization hit. His badge, his job, his life, all slipping away. And for the first time that night, the cop who mocked mercy was the one begging for it. By the time backup arrived, flashing lights painted the wet asphalt red and blue. The air was thick with tension, neighbors peeked from behind curtains, phones recording every second. Officer Brad Turner tried to keep his voice steady, but fear cracked through it. "Director Matthews, look, I was just doing my job. Misunderstanding, that's all." Cole didn't even glance at him. He was standing beside his SUV now, his son sitting inside wrapped in blankets. His voice was ice cold when he finally spoke. "A misunderstanding doesn't leave handcuff marks on a 15-year-old. One of the arriving cops, Sergeant Lane, jogged over and whispered, "Sir, I can handle this." Brad's a good man, probably just overreacted. Cole turned his eyes on him. "Then you'll be part of the report too." Lane froze. Brad looked at him desperately, mouthing "Help me." But Lane quietly stepped back. No one wanted to be caught defending a racist cop, especially not with the FBI watching. Cole tapped his phone. Internal Affairs, Civil Rights Division, Media Liaison, all getting copies of this footage. Brad's stomach dropped. He remembered what his chief always said: body cams protect good cops, and expose the bad ones. He swallowed hard. "Sir, please, I got a family, 2 kids. I didn't mean harm." Cole finally looked at him, calm but unreadable. "Then maybe next time, you think about someone else's kids before putting your hands on them." Just then, Malik's phone buzzed. He showed it to Marcus, whispering, "Bro, look." A local news alert flashed. "Breaking, FBI Deputy Director's son's assaulted by police officer, video leaked." Brad's heart stopped. No, that can't be. Who leaked it?" Cole's eyes flickered with quiet rage. "The truth leaks itself, Officer Turner. Always does." The police chief's car pulled up, rain splashing around his tires. He stepped out, looking like he'd just seen his career flash before his eyes. "Director Matthews, sir, we can discuss this inside." Cole raised a hand. "No, you'll discuss it in court." He turned away, guiding his sons into the SUV. But before getting in, he stopped and looked back one last time. You think you had power tonight, Officer Turner? You didn't. You just had a badge, and you used it wrong. Brad fell to his knees on the wet road, the weight of everything crushing him. His radio crackled. Turner, Chief wants your weapon and badge, now. The man who once barked orders was now silent, trembling, watching the taillights of the SUV fade into the storm. He didn't know yet that this was just the beginning. The morning after the arrest, the town buzzed like a hornet's nest. Every local news station had the same headline flashing across the screen. FBI Deputy Director's son's racially profiled by local officer. Brad sat alone in his small kitchen, eyes red from a sleepless night. His badge, now stripped from his uniform, lay on the table beside a cold cup of coffee. The knock on his door came sharp and fast. He opened it to find two men in dark suits flashing IDs. Special Agents Thomas and Reed. We're here about last night's incident. Brad stammered, I already told Internal Affairs everything. Thomas interrupted, calm but firm. And now you'll tell us. Again. They sat him down, the small house feeling smaller with every question. How long did you detain the miners? Did they resist? Did you call for backup before initiating contact? Brad rubbed his temples. I thought they were breaking into a garage. I didn't know they were. Reed leaned forward. You didn't know they were the FBI director's sons. Or you didn't care they were kids. Brad's breath hitched. Look, I made a mistake. Everyone's acting like I'm some monster. Thomas glanced at him sharply. You put two innocent boys in cuffs because of how they looked. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. The words sank deep. Brad wanted to argue, but deep down, he knew they were right. Across town, Cole Matthews stood in his office, overlooking Washington through the rain-streaked window. His phone rang. It was the Attorney General. Cole, this thing's going viral. We need to handle it carefully. Public pressure's building. Cole's voice stayed calm, but his eyes hardened. Careful isn't justice. My sons were treated like criminals for existing. I'm not letting this get swept away. The AG sighed. I understand, but you need to know, Brad Turner isn't acting alone. We've been tracking complaints tied to his precinct for months. Something bigger's happening here. Cole turned from the window. How big? A pause. Big enough that someone inside your own agency might be protecting them. Cole froze. His jaw clenched. You're saying this wasn't random? Not even close, the AG said quietly. And one of your own men might be involved. Cole's mind raced. The storm outside mirrored the one forming inside him. Meanwhile, Brad sat in silence as the agents left, thinking his nightmare couldn't get worse. But as he looked out the window, a black SUV idled across the street. The driver wore sunglasses despite the clouds, and never looked away. Brad's pulse quickened. What the hell? He whispered. The SUV rolled forward slowly, then disappeared around the corner. For the first time, Brad realized, maybe he wasn't the only one who'd crossed the wrong people last night.